Yeah. Pro Fan Sports Podcast. Let's get it. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam. Sean on the mic, very flat too. Keep you updated, that's what we do. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam.
Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your boy John Altidor with Pro Fan Sports Podcast, back at you with my boys Vladimir. What's good, my dudes?
Hey, what's going on? Hey, what's up, fellas? We're here, episode 19. I know it's exciting and feels good to be here, especially now that the sports are back, guys.
Yeah.
The sports are officially back.
You know what I mean? So we got a good show, episode 19. You know, shout outs to all our supporters, all our listeners, people that participate on social media, people that send in questions, and you know that's bringing to a reminder that we're trying to do a segment where we answer questions from one of our supporters and one of our listeners. So if you have any questions that you want us to answer, you can send us an email or DM us on social media, any of our platforms. And the email is profansports1@gmail.com. And you can also support the podcast by donating on our website, which is profansports.com. So that's www.profansports.com. Please follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, that's profans_sports. We're on Twitter, that's profansports. We're on Facebook, profansports. YouTube.com/profansports. We're everywhere, man. So support us. We drop every Tuesday morning on all major platforms, on all major streaming platforms, and our videos drop on YouTube every Wednesday, man. So how y'all doing, man?
Doing good. I just want to start the show by thanking all of the listeners for helping us reach 1,000.
Yo.
Yes,
listens.
definitely.
1,000 streams, man.
Yes, and that's awesome.
Yep. So thank you very much for that, and just keep supporting us, and we'll keep dropping content.
No, absolutely, man. It's kind of crazy. We just started one day, man. We started doing this podcast thing, see where it was gonna go, and you know, it's been a really short time, you know, and we gotta celebrate the short victories, man. So shout out to you guys, Vlad, Barry, myself. You know what I'm saying? Coming in every Sunday, recording, making sure we got a show for the people over the week. You know, getting shout outs. We've done a couple things, man. So it's exciting, and we're gonna keep going, man. So 10,000 streams, that's the next goal.
We haven't missed a Tuesday, and we won't miss a Tuesday in the near future. So just
Yeah, unless like Y2K happens or something like that.
Y2K.
even if Y2K happens,
We're
make
gonna
sure-
find
Right. We'll still come out with an episode that Tuesday. Right. So exactly. That's not gonna stop us from doing what we do and putting out the content for y'all to listen and to follow. So yeah, thank you everyone for supporting us and for listening to our episodes. And we greatly appreciate you guys, following us and giving us your time and letting us entertain you.
Facts, man.
If you truly enjoy the show, please tell your friends, tell your family, tell the guy on the train that you don't know.
Facts. For
Yeah,
real.
no, tell everybody, man. And I know there's a few people that's been doing that already, man. I know you guys got people that do that. So people like Rita, Janae. We got a lot of
DJ
people.
B-Dog, Brandon,
Brandon. You know what I'm saying? They're all out there, man. Doing the thing and sharing, supporting. Shout outs to our sponsors too, man. Thanks for being part of the journey.
And shout out to all of our international listeners.
Yo,
Yes.
it's
Facts.
wild.
Canada, Nigeria,
Cameroon,
Argentina.
bro.
Yes, Cameroon, my home country. Yes, sir.
I don't know why y'all listen, but I just appreciate it.
Yo.
Right, no, facts, for real. I got some people that are from international, from out of the country that listen to us. So, no, I greatly appreciate them. Got friends in Canada, the whole country, Cameroon. So, no, it's great to have people all over the world, in all different parts of the world, supporting and listening to our shows. So, no, I greatly appreciate them too.
Yeah, dude, we had a question from a dude in Canada
Last week,
That was kind of crazy. Like, son, he asked us a hockey question. I'm like, yo, this is real, man. saying, man, it's a different week because sports is back, man.
Yes.
Sports is back.
Yes,
You know?
guys.
How did we get so unlucky that we started our podcast at the exact
Boom.
same week that sports stopped happening?
Yeah, I know that's crazy. I just realized that now. Like it's been unbelievable, and in mind
just
blowing
talk
the
about
fact that for real. I know we were just saying that right before we started recording that we legit been doing this whole entire podcast, these whole 18 weeks going on 19 weeks. This show now of doing episodes every week with no sports going on.
Man.
And now, finally, this very, week, boom, the sports come right back with the MLB back, the NBA scrimmages are back on, and that league's gonna start next week. And then, hockey's starting up this around the same time as well. So it's like, and then football's right around the corner. So this is a really good time, to be a sports fan and to do, a podcast, and we're excited and looking forward to even doing better shows. I feel like we're gonna even get that much better. I feel like we've been doing a good job, of coming out with content and being creative and finding different things to talk about. While we were in quarantine and while the sports were gone. But now that things that are slowly but surely getting back to normal and sports is officially back, we're definitely gonna have a whole lot more to talk about, and we're definitely looking forward to it.
Yes, sir, man. And we got a lot to talk about today, other than
Right, facts. Let's
what
get
we
to
got
it,
going
guys.
on. You know what I'm saying?
Right, facts.
I mean, we're gonna tackle the NFL first.
Yeah.
A lot of things happening in the NFL. In the NFL, man. So firstly, a team we've been talking about throughout the show since I feel like we started, the Washington football team.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I just laugh every time I hear that. Right? That's just laughable to
The
me.
Washington
football team. Right. It's like,
I mean, I gotta preface it with the fact that that's not gonna be their actual name. It's
just
something that's
temporary.
in place for right now.
Right.
But like the Washington, you mean to tell me you've had this issue all this time? You never had a committee to like come up with certain things. You never had people brainstorming about like what could possibly be. You know what I'm saying?
Well, my take on it is that the Washington, football team, basically,
sorry, bro.
they probably sat down, and I'm sure they had like, I don't know, hundreds of names on the board, and they just couldn't sit down and come up with a name. And I'm taking it from the understanding that the owner of that team didn't want to change the name. So
Absolutely not.
He had no preference for any other name that's on that board. You know what I mean? So he's still salty about it. He's still not happy the fact that he has to change his football team. And you gotta think about it from the standpoint he's a billionaire, and somebody's forcing him to do something. You know what I mean? As a billionaire, people don't usually push you to do stuff because you have all the power to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Right,
I bet you he has a committee, and they came up with the hundreds of names, and they probably picked their best 5 favorite names,
Yeah.
and they presented it to him. And I bet you he was like, "Yeah, I don't like any of this." So, and they had to present a team name for the near future and a temporary team name. I personally have no issues with the name. I know all across the board, all across the internet, everybody's been making fun of the name. I personally don't have any animosity against the temporary name, because I feel as though instead of coming up with a name that you regret, it's better to have that name in place in the meantime. I understand what was funny about it. It's funny to call a team the Washington football team or the, I don't know, Seattle football team or whatever that may be. I personally am used to that. In soccer, none of the team have an official nickname. So if you look at Barcelona, right? So Barcelona is FC Barcelona, which stands for Football Club Barcelona. If you look at AC Milan, which is Athletic Club Milan. So so that's something that I'm very used to.
Yeah.
So to me, it was nothing new. I saw it and I saw people making fun of it, and I'm telling you, I understand why people are making fun of it. I personally just don't think it's that.
That's an interesting take.
I just think it's normal to me.
That's an interesting. I didn't think anything like that. To be honest with you.
No, I know.
I've been making fun of it.
I look at Twitter.
Me too.
No, I've looked at Twitter. Everybody's making fun of it. I just was like, oh, that makes sense. Let's keep a temporary name for now until we came up with a solidified name.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real, I hear what you're saying, real glad. That's an interesting point that you made. Like I said before, I thought it was pretty hilarious and laughable, the fact that they, had time to, come up, with the name for the team, for that Washington organization, and they probably had a board meeting with it and, sat down and went over a bunch of names, and, I guess they, couldn't agree and come to terms on a name to have for the organization, but I feel like at the same time that I'm like, come on, you gotta come up with something better than that. Like, I get some soccer they do that and stuff, but this is football. This is the NFL here.
Excuse me, Barry. Sorry to interrupt. For those of you watching on the channel, we had to change sceneries real quick. There was a little bit of technical difficulties, and like we were saying earlier in the show, it don't matter what happened, we're gonna give you a show. So we had to relocate real quick, so the show must go on. But Barry, you were saying about the name, the Washington name.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that it's pretty comical to me that's really what at least they could come up with. But now I thought they'd be able to come up with something a lot better and more respectable, and that something that actually looks more presentable, and that could actually be on their merchandise. But I mean, I guess they just had trouble coming up with anything that they could all agree on and compromise on. It probably had a lot to do with the owner, who is pretty hard-headed and stubborn, to say the least. And he's probably still in his feelings about having to have the name removed. I'm not even gonna say the name. I'm just gonna leave it at that. We all know what I'm referring to, but
I don't think we've said the name for since we started talking about it.
Exactly.
In our minds, that's been changed.
Right. Facts.
We're not gonna do that anymore.
Exactly. So I mean, I guess that's really what it is with the Washington organization and where they stand. I think that's the weakest and the worst and most lamest name I've heard in sports. I can't help but laugh at it every time I either hear someone say it or just look at it somewhere. But at least for the foreseeable future, that's what it's gonna be. So until they can come up with a different name. So yeah, we'll see how that goes and when that happens.
Yeah, for sure. For me, I'm thinking about other things that have to do with the name as a business and things like that. So I don't know, are people actually gonna buy the merchandise? Maybe it'll become a collector's item or something, at the end of the day, because I think that's weird. You know what I'm saying? And just for what Barry was saying, merchandise purposes, you got to put something on there, man. It's I understand Vlad's point, and I didn't think about that at all, and I think that's pretty cool though. But at the same time, all the football teams got a mascot, or they got a nickname or whatever, and that's what the fan base rallies around, whatever that fan base is. You see an organization like the Cleveland Browns, everybody brings out the dogs, whatever, the dog pound, you know what I'm saying? They have something to rally around. So hopefully they find a name, and I know they're going to have a hard time finding any names because, like we said last week, that guy trademarked a bunch of names. So I'm sure that's made it more difficult for them to, come up with something else or something that they all agree on, like Barry was saying. Good luck to them. Good luck to, well, I don't want to say good luck to Dan Snyder, but whatever. I think we should move on from that, though, because other things that's happening in the NFL, more important news that's happening in the NFL is the NFLPA and the NFL players, they agree on the COVID-19 safety measures. So,
yeah, so they basically, as I was saying last week, they were instructing players to get ready to be back with their team for training camp with no safety measures, no COVID-19 protocols. So anyways, I believe it was Thursday or Friday this week. They finally, they finally came up with some COVID-19 procedures, which include players have to be tested. On day one, they have to be tested for coronavirus. Then they have to be tested for coronavirus again 24 hours later. Then they take 1 day break and they have to be tested again for coronavirus in 48 hours. So, and players have to pass all 3 coronavirus tests negatively to be back to be allowed in the facilities. So they have to go to 3 different coronavirus tests in 4 days to be able to enter the facilities.
That's pretty wild, man.
Wow, that's crazy.
Where are they getting all these tests from?
Right.
Like, I feel like
Money. What do you mean? Where they getting?
I don't know. I just think it's weird because a lot of people complain about not having tests available.
That was in the beginning. Now
I'm still hearing it.
No, now you can go anywhere and get a test.
Yeah.
Almost any. I have at least 3 different health centers by my house. You can just go and get a test. The only thing is, if you have a 25 billion, 30 billion organization like the NFL, they have the money to buy whatever tests they want, and the companies will do whatever they need to do to produce those tests for them. You have the NBA and the NFL, and players will be tested for I believe 2 weeks consecutively. Every day they'll be tested every day consecutively to make sure that nobody has the virus.
Do you know what kind of test they have? Like, is it that swab stuff, or is it?
I'm not sure.
Another variation.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I believe it is.
Like, there's different variations of it.
There's different variation. I believe it is a swab. Because the swab is the one that's quick.
Yeah.
But I can't confirm.
Like the nose one, the one that goes up the nose.
No, the swab, the one that they swab your mouth.
Okay. Well, that's convenient.
Yeah.
Like you said, billion-dollar industries, man. I think part of the situation also was the fact that the players didn't want the salary cap to change for this season and the upcoming ones, and they ended up agreeing on that it was going to stay the same. And I think that's bigger to a lot of players that are coming up on contracts that want to make sure they still have a market when they're free agents, and things stay fair, according to what they feel like they're valued. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't be nice, to get less money or whatever you're worth now, based on all the other contracts that we see, like a Patrick Mahomes get. You know what I'm saying? But then, like, the next best guy is gonna get like something a lot lesser because of the cap situation. So, players feel good about that, and we need the players, man. So shout outs to them for that.
Yeah, I was also hearing that they also agreed on having no preseason games.
Yes.
So
No
the
preseason
players
games.
organization in the NFL did agree on that as part of the COVID-19 safety measures. Excuse me, I don't know why I had trouble saying that. Excuse me for that. But yeah, that was also another interesting and big point on that for sure. And I can understand why they the players organization wouldn't want any of them, but I feel like it makes the job tougher for the coaches to be able to evaluate the roster and choose which players are gonna be on the team and which aren't. But I mean, I guess nothing's really normal these days with anything, and they're gonna have to find a new way to or new ways to evaluate which players can make the team and maybe do a little bit more during the practices, since they can only do so much during their training camp practices. So that's something that the teams are gonna have to figure out as training camp goes on this coming week.
Yeah, that's something Bill Belichick's gonna have to figure out, because he doesn't like the technology stuff.
Right, facts.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna affect all the teams. The other thing as well, teams right now have 90 players.
Yep, it's going down.
Yeah,
well, it is going down too.
It's going down to 80.
To 80. That's
well,
right.
they have two options. One option is you can keep all 90 players, but you have to separate into 45, and so you have to separate into the groups. Group 1 and Group 2 cannot be in the field at the same time. And
okay.
And they cannot be in the field at the same time, and they if you reduce it to 80, then you can have all the players on the field at the same time.
Okay.
That's a little strange. That's only 10 guys off.
Yeah, so
exactly.
I definitely was thinking about that. I was like, what difference does 10 guys make? But I'm sure
any difference, man.
But I'm sure
right.
But I'm sure it has to do with the amount of people that the CDC is recommending to be in the same place at the same time. So that's something that coaches are gonna have to deal with in terms of, do we keep 90 players or do we keep 80 players? I feel as though most teams are probably gonna agree to keep 80 players so that all the players can be on the field at the same time.
Yeah. Right, that's true, because you also gotta think about not only other players on the field during these practices, but the coaches on each position, coaches on the field with them while these practices are going on, and different teams have have a different number, so different teams have a different number of coaches on the staff, so those coaches are on the field working with the players as well, so I'm sure that impacts the number of people that can be on the field as one. So maybe that's why they limited to only 80 players as opposed to 90 players, because you also have to take into account that those coaches are going to be part of the training camp practices as well, and working with these guys when they're on the field.
Yeah, I'm actually curious to see what teams actually elect to do as far as the amount of players they have, because I know some teams, they really like to evaluate as many players as possible, like the Patriots being one. They always have 90 man, you know what I'm saying, to the point where they have to cut somebody to bring other people in majority of the time, and they're actually one of the teams that a lot of free agents, there's a free agent, like an undrafted person that comes in and makes a team every year. So I'm definitely curious to see what they elect to do. And other teams like the Seattle Seahawks, they got a lot of different players that come in and just come into prominence and stuff like that, via the undrafted free agents and things like that. So we'll see. I don't know. I think I don't understand what took them so long to come up with this. And I'm like, the season, training camp's about to start. Why are we still, debating what we need to do? You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly. And
for the sport that has the most contact, it's why wasn't you thinking about this stuff
on this months ago? Exactly.
What are we doing?
Right.
They probably, thought that, like the president, that this virus was just gonna disappear when the warm weather comes. So,
I'm not trying to shoot the NFL some bell, but I just think they probably saw how quickly things were changing, because at first states were reopening, then states were closing again. So I think they just like everybody else, they just been hit with the ambiguity of the virus. So they they just weren't acting quick enough.
Yeah, no, for $1 billion industry, they need to act as quick as possible. And I know one organization that really doesn't act as quick as possible, and a lot of the time does the wrong stuff for some reason. And this week, Jamal Adams came out and basically said that Adam Gase, which is the head coach of the New York Jets, said that he wasn't fit to lead. He was unfit to lead, actually, and that's what he said. And then, consequently, he actually got traded to the Seahawks.
Yes, sir.
Pending, the physical check and stuff like that, making sure he passes, which we all know he's gonna pass the physical. Like, the guy's been a Pro Bowler since he came in the league. So, I don't know why I didn't get the alert, why this wasn't on my radar, but I don't know, that hit me.
Yeah. Did you really that surprised? And
yeah, we were on the call and you guys dropped the news. You're like, yeah, because we were actually organizing the show, coming up with the topics and stuff that we need to talk about, and then you guys told me this, and I'm like, what, dude? Like, legit reaction. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, John was surprised by the news, and for somebody that usually knows what's going on, he just
I don't know why
that was really weird. Right, usually
I didn't get no alerts. I didn't get no alerts.
As soon as it happens, you're usually the one that's telling us about it,
right?
Rather than it being vice versa, us telling you about it. So I was like, damn, John didn't know, hear about that.
Crazy.
Big news, a big player like that being traded to another team, right? And that is crazy and seemed really odd and strange to me that unaware of that happening. But I guess it happens. Sometimes we all get busy and life gets in the way. So that
I don't know. I don't think it was life getting in the way. I'm just I didn't get no alerts on my phone, no Yahoo, nothing. I'm I was on social media. I didn't see a thing.
No one posted anything about that.
I have no idea why I didn't see that. And then when you guys told me, I'm like, holy shit, dude. Yeah. I don't care what they're trading him for, man. It's first round, second round, whatever, because they got a few first round picks in the next 3 drafts.
Well, there's a player included in there.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a first draft next year, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Next year and the year after.
And there's a one in 2022 actually.
Yep.
And there's a third round included.
There's a third round included.
That's right.
So as far as it goes, I knew the Jets was gonna trade him because
oh my God,
because they had to. He didn't want to play for Adam Gase. They weren't getting along. And I just think they were forced to and they had to. I think Adam Gase is not the coach that the New York Jets thought they were getting. A lot of people were making this big deal about Adam Gase being the next genius, the next big coach, and it doesn't seem like that's happening over there in the Jets organization. So it wasn't surprising to me. It was surprising to me the team he got traded to, which was the Seattle Seahawks. I thought he was gonna go to the Cowboys, but it wasn't. I wasn't too surprised because we've actually talked about this on multiple occasions.
Barry went off on them.
Yeah, that's right. A few episodes ago, exactly. Right.
On previous episodes. So yeah.
No, dude, I was shocked. I know we talked about it, but I didn't think they were actually stupid enough to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's if you're the owner of the Jets, right? Adam Gase and Jamal Adams, which one do you go with? You know what I'm saying? Look at their resumes. You know what I mean? I don't care if he's a head coach, but he hasn't been doing shit enough to warrant, trading one of your best players.
Right, facts.
Not your best player. You know what I'm saying? It's
exactly. You would think you would side with Jamal Adams than Adam Gase.
You're the face of the organization, bro. One of them.
Exactly. The best player on that team, hands down. Exactly.
He's not just the best player because you can have a good player on your team, but he doesn't give value to your team, but he's not only the best player, he's one of the leaders on that team.
Yo, he is the leader on that team.
Absolutely, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody listens to that guy. You know,
Exactly.
like whatever he says ends up on ESPN for some reason. You know what I mean? So, like, we know the guy's voice. You know, it resonates with a lot of the players. You know what I'm saying? So for you to, I don't know, man. I don't know what their outlook is gonna be. I wasn't, optimistic about their outlook or anything like that. But now it's like your team's is in shambles, buddy.
Well, they're already in shambles, even if he stayed there, even if he was, Jamal Adams wasn't going to be traded, the Jets were going to suck anyway. We knew they were going to be trash. They were going to be the worst team in the division and one of the worst teams in the NFL either way. But now they're even without him going to be much, much worse. And shoot, they'll probably be like what the Cleveland Browns were, a couple years ago, or what the Bengals were last year. I mean, I get, why they did this trade, because I felt like they had no choice but to, because it was only going to, get worse from here. Not only did Jamal Adams call out the Jets head coach Adam Gates, he also called out the owner Woody Johnson, and he pretty much made it crystal clear that he didn't want to be there, and then that he wasn't going to be with the Jets much longer. He wasn't going to resign with the team when the contract was up. So it was definitely a move that they had to make from that standpoint, and but at the same time it's like, damn, like now you're really starting from scratch, and now your team's just gonna, like, well, you're already a joke, as it is. So like I'm having difficult times describing how bad the Jets are, because I feel like I've just said about every word in the book you could say about how bad and pathetic that team is going to be, especially now without Jamal Adams being on that roster. So, but good for the Seahawks, though, that they were able to,
sure,
get this, trade and get this deal done, and, bolster that secondary, and, upgrade, the safety position on that team, and, and get their defense better, and help that team make a Super Bowl run this year, for not only this year but for the years to come. And it's crazy, because I was just thinking earlier that, damn, like, not only do they have Jamal Adams on that defense, they also have Bobby Wagner, who's one of the best and top linebackers in the league. And
one of the best tacklers too.
Exactly, right. Yeah. So you have two of the best tacklers in the league on the same team, which which is pretty scary, for any team to go against, and it's going to be scary for our, Patriots when we play them. I think early in the season, in the first month, we played them in Seattle, so that's going to be a tough game for us to have to go up against that defense and those guys over there. But yeah, I guess Seattle's going all in with this move, as they should.
Yeah, I think I agree with everything, Barry, you're saying, as far as the Jets, being an organization that's upside down, don't really know what they do. If anything, we know bad organizations are going to do terrible things. So, hey, clears up the Patriots even more to just like steamroll them when it comes to playing the Jets this year, because we know the defense was already trash, and now it's even worse. So good luck to them. Also, good luck to a young man that is deciding to opt out of the NFL for the 2020-2021 season due to COVID-19. The Kansas City Chiefs starting right guard Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, he is actually opting out for the season. He's going to go off and be a doctor, and
no, he is a doctor.
He's a doctor already.
He's a doctor.
Well, he's gonna go off and do his job out there instead of playing on the field. And I believe one thing he said is if he's going to put people at risk and things like that. He'd rather be in contact with people that are sick and doing something about the situation.
What do you guys think about that in general? As far as, well, we had players opting out of the NBA coming back.
Yeah.
We had players opting out of the MLB coming back. We had players opting out of, I don't know if we had players opting out of the NHL, but do you guys think more players will opt out of the NFL coming back?
I don't know. NFL players are built different. You know what I'm saying? They actually want to play, you know. I saw one of the dudes, he actually tweeted out, if football doesn't come back, I'm going to cry. You know what I mean? I think that was like Jerry Judry, one of the wide receivers that just got, you know, drafted earlier this year.
Yeah.
You know, with that said, I know there's a lot of guys that just want to ball out, man. And it's like, it's all they know, you know. So I definitely think a lot of players will opt in to play. But definitely some players, especially people with like underlying conditions, because there's a lot of players with underlying conditions in the NFL, man.
Right.
You know, there's players coming back from like cancer, you know, stuff like that. Been really sick, blood clots, you know, happen every single year. You know, things with people's spleens and so major injuries in the NFL. So I know a lot of players are gonna worry about themselves, especially knowing that the NFL doesn't really take care of, you know, their people when they retire.
Because Marcus Cannon came back from cancer, right?
Yeah, he did. Marcus Cannon did come back.
And then
from
what's
cancer.
the other guy that's coming back from a blood clot?
David Andrews.
Those
Key pieces, man.
Those are not only key pieces, but those are underlying conditions that could be aggravated by COVID. So
Absolutely, man.
For sure.
It'll be interesting to see what's gonna happen in the next, especially this week or in the next couple of days, to see if other players are gonna be opting out.
Yeah, but out of all the, I don't want to call it excuses. Out of all the sentiments against coming back into playing during the season, I feel like this was the best one I've heard so far. You know what I mean? I know a lot of guys are doing it because of their kids and stuff like that, but for a guy to do it just because, you know, he'd rather, you know, be helping people out there, man, and, you know, using his talents to do other things, you know, and it you know, it's a testament to how talented that individual is for you to have a, you know, a degree to be a doctor, and you're in the NFL as well as a, you know, a pro athlete. That's huge. And I know there's a lot of guys that are like that. I think one of the guys, what was his name, like Samari Roll or something like that. He is actually a doctor. I could have the name wrong. He's a doctor right here in Boston. You know, former NFL player. He got his doctorate and all that stuff, and he's in there. You know, so you know, more power to those guys. I thought that was pretty commendable of him.
Yeah, no, for sure, absolutely. I definitely agree with you guys on that. I'm not really too concerned about other players opting out. I think the majority of the players will opt in and play the season, because I know they're all anxious and eager to get back on the football field and getting back to work. Sure, there'll be a select few and a handful of guys that do opt out of the playing this season, but I'm not too worried and concerned about it. I don't think you'll see like any like big name players opt out and decide not to play. But no, definitely shout out to this guy for opting out and at least having a good and legit reason to opt out, and not just opting just because he doesn't want to play and doesn't want to affect his family, but actually, going out there and helping others who are going through, this virus, and actually, doing something to make a difference out there.
I just want to say I support both reasons. The players that are opting out to support their families.
I support that as well.
No, I get that. That's what they want to do. I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that it's, not okay that, they shouldn't do that. Sorry to cut you out, Vlad, but no, that's totally understandable.
Yeah, I support both causes. Good for Laurent. Is that his name, Laurent?
Yeah, Laurent. You know, I apparently he's doing his job pretty good because you know the only time you hear about linemen is when they fuck up.
Yeah, so
you know when they when they're really bad, then you know exactly who that was. You know, like Marshall Newhouse or some shit.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah, so shout out to him and shout out to anybody that, you know, feel as though are brave enough to speak up and feel as though they have either a better cause or a reason not to play. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one player that definitely has a lot of underlying conditions that's actually coming back. He's been cleared to play is actually Alex Smith, and it might not be like, you know, like internal underlying conditions or illnesses and things like that, but man, that guy's been messed up so many times, and for him to be cleared to come back and watching his documentary or the little op-ed he did about his injury and you know how grim that was. I'm really surprised he's still wanting to play. You guys seen that?
Yeah, of course. So I mean, he doesn't have an underlying condition for COVID.
No.
He just had a really gruesome injury and almost like he lost his leg. And I believe he had. We talked about this. We talked about this maybe 10 podcasts ago.
Yeah.
It feels good to say that 10 podcasts ago.
All right. But, for real, yes sir.
But I think he had. Was it like how many surgeries? I forgot how many surgeries
he had
we
so
said.
many surgeries,
But
man.
he had so many surgeries to save that leg.
Absurd number, like
Yeah.
like 17 or like it was a pretty high number.
Yeah.
Right.
Saved that leg.
Yeah, so
Right, just to
Like,
keep him alive.
Saved the leg just to keep.
Just to save his life for real.
I'm happy for Alex. Congratulations, Alex, for being cleared up. I'm excited to see you back in the back on the field. I always liked you. I always liked Alex. I always liked the way he played. He was a safe quarterback. But you just knew that you could count on him. I'm happy for him and look forward to seeing him back in the field.
I'm happy he wasn't a bust, really. You
Yeah.
know, because after his draft and stuff, and you know the way his career turned out, he actually brought it back, and
I feel like
he's a respectable football player. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he carved it out for himself, and you know, more power to him.
For sure.
I feel as though he's one of those guys that if he was healthy and he was available, Belichick would have picked him up.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh no, without
Absolutely.
question, he would have definitely
Especially-
looked into signing him and bringing him in to compete with Jared Stidham for the starting job without question.
Especially how safe he is with the ball. You know,
Yeah.
He's not gonna take
Mistake-free,
many
yes.
sacks. He's not gonna throw many interceptions at all,
Mistake-free,
man.
yeah.
It's just he's just a good system quarterback, man.
Exactly.
Shout outs to him, man, and I hope the best of luck for him.
Yeah.
for
No,
sure.
for sure.
You know,
Absolutely.
I hope he comes back as strong as possible. Maybe get into a situation where he even goes in a game and completes a couple passes. You know, if that's his luck and that's how you know everything rolls out for him. You know, all the luck to that dude. You know,
Right, absolutely. I'd love to also see him win comeback player of the year and have a really great season and play well and play at a high level. So that would be pretty awesome and a really bittersweet kind of story to, ending to that story if he was able to do that. So no, I hope he does have, success on the football field for this upcoming
You
season.
mean it would just be sweet?
Yeah, I don't think it would be bittersweet. Like if he came back, I think it would be sweet if he came back.
Oh yeah, it was sweet. Right. That's the wrong word that I use. That's my fault on that. But I'm sure you guys get my point and where I was going with that. So yeah, no, good for him that he's able to come back. I want to see him ball out and do his thing with the Redskins this year.
Yeah, let's see if Dwayne Haskins can keep him off.
Dwayne Haskins.
I know, right? It's funny.
Right.
Lastly, man, one guy that was definitely concerned about COVID-19, and I'm sure he still is, concerned about it, and he voiced his opinion on Twitter, as well as many other prominent NFL players. Russell Wilson, man, congratulations to him and his newborn son, man. I think Win Wilson. That's the name.
Yep.
Win Wilson.
Win Wilson.
Like WIN.
WIN.
Oh, that's funny.
That's awesome.
People are getting so corny with the names these days.
Is it corny or bold?
I think so. Nah, people are getting corny with the like. You look at Elon Musk's son's name, like what the fuck? What is that?
What is it?
I don't fucking know. It's a number. I don't even know. It's like
It's
X
a code?
It's like X1A. I don't know.
That's crazy, man.
Like, let me look. I'll look it up. But I mean, I'm not shitting on Russell Wilson. First of all, congratulations on your new son. I just think people are getting corny with the names these days.
I feel like they're getting bold, like Northwest. You know what I mean? Like people naming their kids Apple, Michael Jackson. Like, the fuck is going on here? You know what I mean? But
And then you even got Lou Will naming his kid 6.
6 for the 6 that. Man, speaking of you know what? That's in the next. That's in the next segment. We'll get to that, boy.
Right. So we got some stuff on him.
So Elon Musk's son's name is XAEA-XII.
Yeah, no, that guy got too much money.
Really?
That's his problem.
God.
He got too much money.
Oh, yeah,
you know?
right.
That's just funny to me.
He just named a possession. That's not a son's name.
Right.
That's one of my units. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Named him
right.
after like a unit. You know what I mean? Like, this is one of my projects I worked on. You know, that's crazy.
For real.
But yeah, like we were talking about, let's move on to the NBA. Actually, man, I'm so happy about the NBA. NBA's back, dude.
Yes. Officially is back. Yes,
Officially back, man. We had some scrimmages televised. You know, a lot of people don't have NBA TV. You know, hopefully y'all got to stream it somehow. But the Celtics game was on NBC Sports Boston, so
Yes.
I was able to catch that. You know, a lot of people complaining that they couldn't see the game, but if you got to see it, man, it was definitely something. From the way they set everything up to how the games was being played, you know, to seeing all the rust that was on the, you know, was in the teams, you know, especially individuals and stuff like that. It was kind of funny, but I liked a lot of the new changes. How'd you feel, Vlad?
You know, I was excited, obviously, to have the NBA back. Just like everybody else, I had trouble watching some of the games because they were on NBA TV and you had to get the league pass to watch it, which was unfortunate. But I caught some highlight, and it's just exciting to see. You know, Ben Simmons hit a 3-point.
That's right.
He did.
You have the guy, what's his name? Bobo. He's looking like
like him.
He's looking like a Kevin Durant out there.
You know the vibe.
Right, he was
Because
balling. Oh yeah.
He's a little taller than Kevin.
He's linked
right?
7'2".
And
Yep.
but he's like crossing people over. He's running with the ball. He got handles. He's making 3-pointers.
Yeah.
So he reminded me a lot of Kevin Durant. And if he can keep that up, wow, he's gonna be a problem. He's gonna be a real problem. You know, the Lakers were looking good. The Bucks looks real good. I don't know if you guys saw Giannis.
They hit the ground running, baby.
Giannis looked like he didn't miss a step.
Right.
Oh, you heard what he said? He's like, I actually did have a hoop the whole time. I was just trying to get a leg up on the competition. Because he came out and said that, yo, I don't have a hoop. I haven't been hooping. I thought that was pretty funny. He's
See,
like,
that's somebody that wants it.
I know.
Right,
I admire that a lot, man.
No, me too. I like that.
So yeah, but yeah, I mean, just like everybody else, you know, everybody's adjusting to the squeaking of the floor because that's all you hear. There's no fans in the stands, so you're just getting used to this new NBA. But it's exciting. It's great to see the competitions are out there. The Clippers looks really good. So yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, no, for sure. But it's definitely been an exciting start to the NBA restart in the season coming back for sure. A lot of exciting games and players that have been playing in these games. So I know a lot of guys have been, you know, looking good out there. And even LeBron has looked good.
He looked real good.
Right. So is AD, Anthony Davis. Jokic looked good. Alexander from OKC looked pretty good, as well as Dennis Schroeder. And even Steven Adams, so those guys have been playing well, and even Kawhi and PG have been both playing at a high level, so it's good to see. And even Luka looks
Luka Doncic.
Yes. Even he's been playing pretty well too so far. So it's good to see that all those guys is still continuing to play as if the season never left and never stopped, and haven't missed a beat. So I guess those guys are really did what they need to do in taking care of their bodies and getting the work in the gym and getting the shots up that they need to get themselves ready for this when this season did come back. So I'm glad to see good basketball being played, because I thought we were going to see a lot of sloppy, ugly basketball when this started. But it's been, for the most part, games have been pretty well played by the majority of the teams.
Yeah, I actually saw a lot of sloppiness.
Yeah.
Well, there has been some.
You know what I mean?
There has been some sloppiness for sure, but there's been some good play as well. And
yeah, I seen some sequences. I was like, what are they doing? You know what I'm saying? But we did talk about like guys are gonna come back rusty and not not in rhythm. And a team that definitely looked like they wasn't in rhythm was the Celtics.
Before we go to the Celtics, I just wanted to ask you guys: did you guys get to see the Pelicans play?
The Pelicans? No, I didn't.
No,
I did not.
see them play.
I haven't heard anything about Oh, he's not back yet, huh?
No, Zion's not back yet, so that's why you probably haven't heard.
Come back.
And that's probably a reason why they haven't really advertised that, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
because I wanna I don't know. I'm excited about Zion. So
yeah, no. What I was saying is one team that doesn't look like they've been up to par with everything else that's going on, that definitely look rusty coming back based on what we saw at the end of the season last year. They played Celtics. I mean, they played the OKC, right? Chris Paul and his team, and they lost. Granted, the starters didn't play the whole game. It looked a little sloppy out there. Did you guys get to catch the game, and what'd you think about it?
yeah, I caught the Celtics versus OKC. I thought that the guys were rusty. I mean, you have you had Gordon Hayward. He shot 2 for 6 or something, or 2 for 7 or whatever it was. You had Tatum shooting 1 for 6.
Yeah.
You had guys who were missing open shots, easy shots. The offense wasn't in sync. OKC had their way in the paint. Jamal, not Jamal. What's their center's name?
Steven Adams.
Steven Adams. I was gonna say Jamal Adams. Steven Adams had a field day in the paint.
Oh yeah.
It was just a sloppy game. But like we said, it's the first game back. Guys are getting back into their groove. Kemba wasn't there, which we're gonna talk about later.
Yeah.
It was just a very sloppy game. And what was I gonna say? I just think that it's gonna take a little bit of time for everybody to get back into the groove of things.
No, that's a fact.
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely with that. We definitely understand that. We're definitely gonna see plenty of sloppiness and rust. From the Celtics, as we saw, but I was still disappointed as far as how they played. That felt like they could have played a little bit better, and guys, right, just the main guys just didn't really look like themselves and didn't look good out there and didn't look like they were in rhythm or comfortable. But I mean, we knew that it was probably going to take at least a couple of games for them to get their rhythm back and for them to, play with, get more confidence and then look more comfortable out there. But not only did they not play well offensively, the defense was just real bad. It was pathetic, right? Like, guys, like you said, Vlad, were getting into the pin, into the rim way too easily. There were no, there was no help and no, rotations, being made. So, a lot of easy baskets from OKC, and also guys, weren't closing out as well, and leaving the shooters wide open. And OKC, once they started making their shots, the game was pretty much just about over at that point. So, I mean, those things are obviously fixable and can be corrected once, guys do, get back, get their legs under them and get, back into shape and get their rhythm back. So, I'm not too worried about that. But we've definitely seen that this team still has a long way to go in order for them to play at the level that we all expect them to play at. So we'll see how long it takes for them to get there, but they still have a lot of work to do in order to be able to play with those top teams in the East.
Yeah, I mean, granted, it was only one game. It looked like these guys were not as well conditioned as they needed to be. Watching the game, I heard CP3 a lot. That guy was screaming everything.
Yes, he was.
Like, he was directing his team. He was pretty loud, and our team was pretty quiet. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to get the communication up. We got to get the chemistry on. We got to get aggressive, because I feel like people weren't being aggressive. One guy that did look good from the gate was Jaylen Brown. And I'm happy to see that. That's my guy also. He did his thing. I think he got the first bucket of the game, actually.
Yes, that turnaround fadeaway.
You're so right, John. I think they interviewed one of the coaches at halftime, and he was saying the loudest team is gonna win the game.
No, absolutely.
And like you said, CP3 has always been
that's what he does.
A leader. So no doubt he was gonna do that.
Right. Yeah, I remember Jay Nigga did say that. That's right. They were saying that on the NBC Sports broadcast. Scal was saying that he texted him, and that's what Larry Nigga was saying. So, no, that's a good point, Vlad.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We got to get loud out there. Marcus Smart, do what you got to do. Scream at these guys.
You ain't got to tell him to get loud.
No, Jason Tatum, we can't do the quiet stuff on the court, because, now it has to change, especially with, the fans not being there, You
just have to communicate.
You got to communicate, But, I mean, at the same time, it's one scrimmage, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's all we have to judge the team on.
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm just saying it's only one scrimmage, so, we got a few more to go. Hopefully, they get their conditioning back up.
I just want the team that I root for to look as good as the other teams out there.
No, that's a fact.
You know what I mean? Because those teams, that's the first scrimmage too. Why they look better than us?
They look good, man.
Yeah,
so real good.
That doesn't make me feel good as a fan.
Yeah,
no, for sure,
absolutely.
That's a good point, but definitely, there's not a good look and doesn't make anyone feel competent as of right now in them. So
yeah, you got to come out for a team with playoff aspirations. You got to come out, with a bang, or coming out looking, as together as possible. Because all we've heard was the team has great chemistry and stuff like that. So get that on the court too, and making sure we're communicating. You guys have done enough TikTok, so we know y'all can communicate.
I'm a pretty loud guy, so if y'all need somebody to just scream out there, hit me up.
No, for real. One guy that wasn't out there, actually, like you were saying, was Kemba Walker, and that's due to his knee situation.
Yep.
I mean, the guy had 4 months off from playing basketball. When he came back to practice, I guess he went too hard to start off, and they've had to wean him back. And slowly bring him into the practices and make sure that his knee is all right, especially for the future, because like I said, the team has playoff aspirations, and I feel like what happened Friday, had something to do with Kemba Walker also not being on the court.
Being on the court.
Right. That was definitely.
And Kemba has been getting a lot of criticism for the fact that his knee's still flaring up after 4 months. I'm just gonna give him a little bit of break because I think there's something about keeping your leg fresh, and the fact that you had 4 months off, you just couldn't keep your leg at game level. Right, your knee just went exposed.
Why does he get a pass and Gordon Hayward doesn't get a pass?
What do you mean?
With the injury, Gordon Hayward like snapped his leg. And like, nah, you got to perform now.
No, he had. What are you talking about? First of all, hold on. Let me.
Preferential treatment.
No, I'm not. What are you talking about?
What's going on here?
He broke his leg.
Yeah.
He came back 1 year, sucked, and I allowed that.
Oh, you allowed it?
Yeah.
So you're okay with year one him being trash, right?
And then he still suck now. I mean, I'm joking. He doesn't. Let me not exaggerate. He doesn't suck now. He's just not performing as well as I want him to perform right now.
Okay. All right.
He had 1 year He had 1 year, and it wasn't a good year, and I understood that.
Transition.
Yeah. I'm a very understanding guy. But. Anyways, we're not having the discussion about Gordon Hayward right now.
I just wanted to poke an argument.
We
wanted to remind you of that. Yeah.
We're commenting on Kemba Walker's knee, and I just think it's hard to keep your leg at game speed and game level.
No, that's a fact.
Cutting the
I
same
agree.
way. It just takes a long time. I'm not gonna compare my injury to his, but I have a knee that bothers me.
Yeah.
And when I start playing soccer, that knee, the first week, it's always gonna bother me. And then week 4, I don't even feel the knee anymore. You know what I mean? Just because it's gotten used to it. So
You've been playing, right?
I understand the criticism that he's getting, but I'm just gonna give him a pass and say, as soon as the knee gets back to game level, game speed, I think he'll be fine. And I think unfortunately, I think that's a knee he's just gonna have to deal with not only for the rest of his career, but for the rest of his life.
So I hear what you're saying, Brad, about Kemba Walker, and I get that they had a lot of time off and that he didn't have, access to the trainers of the team and was able to, get into the, facility and get the treatment that he needed to. But, I'm still a little concerned and worried about, this knee and his health for, the rest of this season, just because it's been a recurring thing that has happened throughout the season, and I just really don't see it changing. I think this is, even when he gets back, this is going to, continue to happen moving forward. It's unfortunate because I really do like Kemba Walker a lot. I'm definitely a fan of his, and, I like what he brings to the team and brings to the table. But it's, just something that, it feels like no matter what happens, it just keeps coming back. You would think that getting rest on the knee would actually help it get better, but I guess he had a little bit too much rest, on his knee for it to continue to flare up and swell and not being able to play just yet. So, hopefully, he, gets better. I mean, he sounds like he's pretty confident that it will and that it won't be an issue moving forward and when he does come back on the court. So, I want to believe him and give him the benefit of the doubt. So I hope he's right, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see how, it goes and, and how he plays when he does come back on the floor and if it affects his game. I hope it doesn't, but only time will tell with that injury. So yeah, we'll see what happens with him. But yeah, good luck to Kemba Walker on coming back to the Celtics.
No, it's a fact, man. Given the Celtics' history with injury reporting and some of the guys that they said were managing certain situations, never actually came back. Like if you think about a guy like KG, part of the playoffs and stuff, they kept saying he was gonna come back, and then he didn't end up coming back. You know what I'm saying? And then you had Isaiah Thomas. He had issues with the hip and stuff like that. We kept, denying the situation until the poor boy broke everything. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
I don't know if the Celtics deserve trust as far as the way they're reporting. They're saying that they want Kemba Walker to come back for the season and manage his knee pain and manage everything that's going on with his knee. Hopefully that is true, but I can't say I trust it. Because he couldn't play at least 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens, and I want to see Kemba Walker on the floor because I think we play a lot better with him. And when the fourth quarter comes, we need somebody else to help close out the game as well. He's clutch with those threes, man. So we're gonna need him to take pressure off JB and Jason Tatum. So he's a vital part of the team, and I don't think we go too far without Kemba Walker on the lineup. You know what I'm saying? The other guards, they're pretty young. They're freaking rookies. And Brad Wanamaker, he's a solid, backup point guard, but he's not gonna kill anybody when it comes time to. And we know what Kemba can do with his little step back there. So good luck to him, man.
Kemba, yes,
you know what I'm saying? A team that's doing some great stuff that's not part of the NBA return is the New York Knicks, and I can't believe that I said they're doing the right stuff because they never do the right stuff.
It sounded weird.
It really did sound weird.
That's crazy.
But with the hiring of their new president, the manager of operations and stuff like that, they had a good guy come in and do that, and now they've hired
Leon Rose.
Yeah, Leon Rose.
Yeah,
he's one of the good guys
for them.
And now they've hired Tim Thibodeau, former Celtics assistant, to Doc Rivers, and then he went into Chicago, with Derrick Rose and them.
Yeah, and Jimmy Butler was over there. Yeah,
and then he went out to Minnesota with those young guys, Cat and
Wiggins.
And now he's with the Knicks. Who got a couple pieces, man. Who got a couple young pieces that are coming up, and it's a young team. And I liked him a lot. I liked him.
Tom Thibodeau.
I thought that was weird, man. I'm like, either way, man. Tom Thibodeau, because I keep, I'm kind of like Anchorman when I'm just reading the teleprompter or whatever. I'm just reading what's on there, just saying some crazy stuff. Remember Anchorman?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The lady switched off what he needed to say, and he said "fuck you, San Diego" or some shit.
That's just I remember that part. Right.
Tom Thibodeau, man. I like. Well, we call him Tibbs around here. I like Tibbs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I never really used his first name, but I think that was a really good hire for them. Did you have any reaction to it?
Just that is a good hire.
Yeah.
Tom is a great coach. I like what he did. What he was in Chicago. Minnesota wasn't as successful, but I think Knicks, big time organization. If you look at the Knicks, they haven't been good for the past 20 years. But once you talk about the Knicks, people think of this big mecca of basketball that they call the Garden where they play. So people really get excited about the Knicks because it's in New York. So I think they needed a big time head coach and they got one. So hopefully it works out.
Hopefully they don't fire him within 1 year and let him actually work. You know what I'm saying? Because the New York media can be really harsh and not understanding at all. And it's you need to give guys more than 2 years to do something.
I mean,
facts.
Who cares what the media does? I think the team owner sucks, and that's why I think
Dolan sucks.
Exactly.
Trash,
I think
garbage.
I think the Knicks are going a little bit through what Washington is going through right now as far as football go. The Washington football team goes. I just think that both teams have great history, but both teams got really bad owners that are making really bad decisions. So if Dolan doesn't fire him, I think giving, because he signed a 5-year contract.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think giving 5 years with some draft picks, I think we can make New York can make some big noise.
Yeah, no, I like the hire. You know, Tibbs is a really good coach, and definitely deserves to be back in the league. You know, always thought he's, you know, one of the, you know, better basketball minds and coaches in this league. So
Defensively.
right, especially on the defensive end, without question. I mean, he's in a league of his own when it comes to that. So, you know, we know he's going to get the Knicks to, you know, play hard and play,
At least play defense
every night and compete. So, you know, I'm glad that they were able to get, you know, quality coach like Tibbs, you know, on their team. And, you know, it's definitely another good step in the right direction for the New York Knicks organization, who was definitely had hit rock bottom, and and it was pretty lousy to say the least. But they're definitely going places and doing the right things to get them back into being, you know, respectable organization in the NBA, and getting him and getting their, you know, team together, because, you know, from everything starts from the top to bottom. So you have to make sure the management is right and the coaching is right before you know, you get the, you know, players that you need. So now they got to get him some talent and get him, you know, some guys that can play, and give him something to work with. But the Knicks are definitely, you know, going where they need to go, and doing the things that they need to finally do. It took them forever, but they're finally doing what they have to do in order to get themselves into being competitive again.
Yeah, we'll see if they can get competitive again. We'll see what happens in the draft.
They
also,
still got to draft and get the talent in order for Tibbs to be successful, without question. But if they do that, I feel like the Knicks definitely have a good future coming up for sure.
Yeah, we'll see, because I know they want to draft LaMelo Ball. You know, Big Melo. You know what I mean? He's coming up. They could have the number 1 pick. I mean, I hope they have
the draft next year, right?
Yeah. He's gonna be in the next draft. This one that's coming up.
Oh, in the 2020.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. He could be a potential number 1 hit, man. You know, number 1 pick.
Right. He's definitely in that conversation.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, hopefully they can get pieces, man, to go and help that man out over there. But, you know, but they're still the Knicks at the end of the day. We'll see what they're allowed to do, what Dolan allows them to do. If he doesn't hinder everything that they got going on, maybe they'll turn things around. But I'll believe it when I see it, because it's been that long, you know, since they've gotten anything right. So, you know, at the end of the day, it was a great pickup. You know, I'm surprised Tom Tibbs, he actually wanted to go there. You know, I'm glad that he's back in the league as a head coach as well. So
yeah, definitely well deserved for him to be back.
Man. You know, another thing we didn't talk about that actually came back as far as the sports. The WNBA actually came back. You know, they came back with a bang, right? So national anthem was gonna be played. You know, nobody kneeled during the national anthem.
Really?
Nah, nobody kneeled, and that's because everybody left the floor when the national anthem was being played. Yeah, because they're like, we're not even with that at all. You know what I'm saying? So, right. You know, instead of kneeling or whatever, they just like, we're not even gonna be there for it. So, play it if you want to. But
to the locker room?
Yeah, they went back. They left. So, welcome back to the WNBA. You know, and, you know, more power to them girls. And I know they're putting on for Breonna Taylor, justice for Breonna Taylor.
I think they took a 26-second moment of silence for Breonna Taylor.
What does the 26-second symbolize?
I think she was 26 or something.
She was 26 years old when she died. That makes sense, you know. She was a young, beautiful girl, man, and
Yeah, it was,
you know,
absolutely.
justice for her, and you know the NBA as well as the WNBA. They've been going hard for her. If you're paying attention to what's going on, you know, a lot of the press conferences had a lot of guys making sentiments about, you know, justice for Breonna Taylor. It's what's right. Even LeBron James, you know, had some powerful words to say about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, putting their stamps on it, and you know, like they said, they were gonna be out there trying to battle things that we need to battle out there as far as social injustice in this country, and they're keeping up their end of the bargain, man.
Yeah, and I know PG, or Paul George, also said some things about Breonna Taylor too, so shout outs to him as well.
Yeah, PG, Tobias Harris, Marcus Smart, LeBron James. You know, it's kind of like back to the Marshall Lynch days, you know. I'm just here so I don't get fined, you know what I mean? I'm just here for Breonna Taylor, you know what I mean? And
Right.
you know, we're on board with that movement as well. So shout outs to the WNBA coming back and making that statement. One guy that's gonna come back in 10 days because he's actually in quarantine upon arriving back to the bubble is you know, one of the reigning 6 men of the year candidates, Lou Williams. You know, news broke out that his grandfather actually passed, so he got the permission to leave the bubble to go and, you know, bury his grandfather. And apparently at some point he made it into a strip club with Sleepy Hollow, which is like a hard artist, up and coming artist, and somebody snapped a picture of him at the strip club. I believe his excuse was he was picking up some food. Like, I don't know who calls the strip club to order food.
Nah, I think it's a thing, bro.
I know that, but like,
You know, I've heard the restaurants.
I've heard not just at the restaurant, but I've heard a lot of people say some of the best food I've had is from the strip club.
cause they're drunk.
I heard they have good food, man.
Yeah,
But they actually had that when they're sober.
But
right. It's like they're in there throwing dollars. You can't be in the right mind doing that.
I've heard and it was specifically Magic City, and I've heard Magic City has good food. But nevertheless,
This dude went to pick up some food at Magic City. Out of all the restaurant, let's go. Magic City got them wings, bro. Let's go. While we there, we could throw some dollars.
yeah, why not? I really didn't think it was that big of a deal until I sat down and thought about it. Lou Will is part of the Clippers, who's on a course to win a championship. He didn't do himself any justice by going out there exposing himself to other people, and now he has to quarantine and not be part of the team for 10 days, and the team is going to be playing some scrimmage games where he needs to get back to speed, to game playing speed, and now he's not going to be able to participate in that. So
not even that, man. That place is usually a crowded place. It's a popular place, Magic City.
That's my point. He's being exposed. He was going over there and exposing himself.
Yeah.
So now, because of that, now he's hurting his team, and he's hurting his team chances of making the noise that they need to make, because like we said, the Clippers are one of the teams that are primed for a championship. So on that sense, he definitely did a selfish thing. He just shouldn't have went.
That's a fact.
Yeah, no, but sure, absolutely. Not only that, he's actually gonna miss, I think, like the first 2 seeding games as well. He's gonna miss at least a couple of
Games.
regular season games when the regular season comes back this coming week, you know, due to him having to quarantine. So yeah, it's unfortunate that he decided to make that decision and go over there. He clearly and obviously shouldn't have done that, and wasn't thinking properly and about his team and his teammates. So he has to unfortunately do the quarantine and do what he has to do in order to keep the rest of his team safe and the rest of the guys in the bubble safe, so that he doesn't pass anything on to them in case if he did come up with something over there, and especially go to that popular of place like that. I honestly am still shaking my head and trying to figure out why he would do that. I get it's a pretty poppin' place. I've been there myself.
Oh, you been to Magic City?
Yeah, I've been to Atlanta. I'm a traveler. I was traveling the world and living the B-Money lifestyle everywhere outside of Boston.
That's what the B-Money lifestyle is really.
Make sure you talk onto the mic.
So before this pandemic happened, I was living my best life and doing my thing.
You can keep that in there.
You can keep that?
Yes.
Before this pandemic happened, I was living.
You was living the B-Money lifestyle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did I say anything wrong?
No. Keep going.
No, hold on. You were saying I was living the B-Money lifestyle. That's what I was saying.
Right. That was my point. That's exactly
Okay,
what I was
I'm going to restart it back up. But talk on the mic.
Okay. Yeah, I was living up the B-Money lifestyle and traveling the world and all over the country, and what are the places that I went to while I was in Atlanta when I went over there to visit was Magic City. So don't get me wrong, it's a nice place and all, and it's a good time, but definitely now is not the time to be going over there, especially if you're an NBA player and just anyone in general that has to be in that kind of situation. So hopefully he learned from his mistake and learned his lesson, and hopefully other guys don't do this. Now, I was just thinking real quick that I'm surprised that James Harden hasn't made this mistake, because he's another guy that has been been known for going to these kind of places. So if he didn't, if he's not doing it, then I don't see why guys like Lou Will are going to these places. So hopefully this doesn't happen again, and with any other players, while everyone's in the bubble for the rest of the season.
Yeah, man,
John,
it's nothing.
Before you go,
Yeah.
you never been to a strip club down south?
No, I've never been to a strip club down south. I've been to a couple strip clubs up here, and I don't like them, yo.
I'm telling you, you need to go to Atlanta.
Oh yeah,
you need to go.
Yes,
once COVID-19 is over,
once COVID-19 is over,
this is facts.
because I'm thinking there's nothing better you could do, during COVID-19 than getting some ass chicks, shaking in your face. Let me get some, some ass cheeks in my face real quick.
Don't go right now, but
right, not at the moment, not at this point.
I feel like seeing some ass clapping. Let me COVID-19. Can you think about those droplets?
Nah, it was definitely not a wise idea by Lou.
But having a good old time, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
I guess he was having a hard time, because his grandfather died. So maybe that factored into it.
Nah, what you do is you call for delivery.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
If you're grieving like that, I don't think you go grieve at the strip club.
But in Magic City, out of all places,
You call for delivery for both the food and the girls.
You know what I mean?
Facts.
Bring it to the crib.
There you go.
Bring it to the crib.
That's exactly what he should have done. That's facts, Vlad.
Nah, he was having a good old time, so
he was living his best life.
Now he's not gonna be having such a good time in the quarantine.
Right. He ain't gonna be living his best life in the bubble.
Right.
At least for the next 10 days.
Somebody that's not really having a good time though, more on the NBA is actually Domantas Sabonis from the Pacers, man. He had to leave the bubble to treat plantar fasciitis.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always had trouble like saying that word.
Yeah.
Plantar fasciitis, man.
And that's a tough word to say. I don't think I could.
It's
say
a tough
that.
word to say, but an even tougher injury to actually play with, man. Because your feet, man. You know, it's like from what I've heard, it's like when you're running, it's like you're running on nails.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you have that condition. So, you know, good luck to him, man. And that actually brings down the Pacers stock for actually making a deep playoff run, because Sabonis was one of their better players out there with Miles Turner and Vic Oladipo. So I don't think their chances of going anywhere, you know, got any good with that news right there. So
no, for sure. That's
good luck to him, man, because you know he's a really good big man. I wanted the Celtics to actually make a run at him.
Right, yeah, me too.
I think before he signed. So I mean, you know, good luck to him, man.
Yeah, wish him well. Wish him a quick and speedy recovery, no doubt.
Right, along with the NBA actually coming back this week, the MLB actually came back this week also.
Yes, sir.
And actually started playing actual games, live games.
That's right.
You know, games that actually matter on the record books, you know. So baseball came back this week, and a lot of games being played, and a lot of, you know, fuss being made about, you know, the guys kneeling during the anthem and stuff like that. So we saw a lot of teams actually take a lot of knees, you know, like they said they would. You know, we've seen a lot of guys that, you know, back in the day would not even take that chance. You know, a lot of guys have been empowered to actually take knees, and you know, a team like the Red Sox actually, there's a big Black Lives Matter billboard in their font that actually erected right near Fenway. You know, it's like it's a huge sign actually. Can be seen from miles. So
it is. I drove by it the other day, and it's huge. Right?
Yeah. So a lot of, you know, I'm really surprised to actually see baseball participating in this, because baseball is one of the oldest games and has one of those audience, kind of like the NASCAR audience too.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for that, for the show of support. The guys being brave enough to stand up for what's right. The Red Sox are putting up that banner. It takes a lot of guts, and I appreciate that support.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no questions. I love it.
As far as baseball coming back, I know I'm not a big baseball fan. That don't gotta be said. I've said that before, but I know that some of the people that I've talked to that I know that are a big fan of baseball, they were looking forward to this. They've been watching the Red Sox have played a 3-game series. With the Orioles.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they're playing the 3rd game right now as we are recording. I know it's big. It's big for the country to have baseball back, because as much as a lot of people don't like baseball, there's still a good amount of people that follows, and that
it just felt good to actually just see it, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, regardless if you were just watching it or not, man, it just felt good to actually turn on the TV and there's an actual game,
a live game going on, right?
Actually going on. So I'm very happy, man. You know, I'm in my element right now. I'm in my bag right now.
Right, facts.
You know,
it was a great feeling for sure. I missed that feeling too. I haven't felt like that in so long, and I'm glad that finally got to experience that and get that feeling, you know, back for sure, to actually watch some, you know, live sports games that are going on currently.
Did you guys watch any of the Red Sox game or any baseball at all?
I did.
Yes,
I saw the first game, man.
I saw the first game. Yeah,
And they went ham on
the Orioles.
They set a record actually for the home run. They hit like 8 of them.
Nice.
No, it wasn't home runs, John. They set a team record for hitting 8 doubles, which was the most doubles that they hit as a franchise in their history on opening day.
Wow.
So they hit no home runs, but they got 8 doubles, and every guy on that team scored at least 1 run.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Batting order.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and they blew them out. They killed them 13-2. They really started the season with a bang, and they looked amazing out there.
So they beat them 13-2 on Friday, which was the first day.
Correct.
And they beat them 7-2 last night, which was Saturday.
No, they lost.
They lost. Sorry. They lost 7-2 last night. And then they're playing right now. The Orioles are leading 6-4, top of the ninth. So it looks like there might be another loss.
Might be another loss, man. But you know, we
shouldn't be losing to the Orioles.
We should not.
That's what I'm saying. Like the worst team in the league.
We should not be losing to the Orioles.
Yeah.
Right,
That just tells you how much we suck right now.
Yeah.
Right. I know
We're talking about it.
Exactly.
I'm not a big baseball fan, but one thing I know is that the Orioles sucks.
They do.
Yes, they sure as hell do.
Everybody
Facts.
knows that.
They are absolutely hot garbage, right? And that's unbelievable and right. And kind of sad that the Red Sox are losing to, a team that could be possibly the worst team in baseball right now, the Baltimore Orioles. And then we knew that the team's not going to be very good, the Red Sox. I know we've said that before, but I mean, we at least expect them to beat the Orioles, at least beat them 2 out of 3. Losing one game to them, okay, but don't lose a series to them right out of the gate. Come on now, what is that? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's a long season though, so
No, it's
only
not
60 games.
It's not a long season.
Right, which is very short. We're used to it being a long
even that
season,
feels
but
long too. Is 60 games is a lot.
Not really.
Compared to 162.
Yeah, so that's
100 less games. Right, exactly.
Man.
That's it's a very short season.
Speaking of the Red Sox, man, we reported last week that Eduardo Rodriguez was not going to start opening day due to COVID-19. He was struggling with that. And, we've had unfortunate news that he's actually still going through complications from COVID-19. So,
which is not good.
It's not good at all.
Horrible.
I know something he said. He's like, I'm 27 years old, and this thing made me feel like the weakest old man out there. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why we gotta be careful.
For real.
Right. It can affect young people just like old people. Can affect anybody.
Right, but long term too. So
right.
He's having complications right now, and he's actually out indefinitely. Good luck to him, man.
Yeah, speedy recovery, man.
Yeah.
Feel better.
He's one of the good guys, man, from what I know, from what I've seen, and he's an up-and-comer, too, so, good luck to him.
He pitched really well last year, too. One of the few bright spots of the team. I think he won 20 games for them last year or something like that, pretty close to. So, and it was unfortunate that he, not only with these complications, but I think he also had a heart issue as well. So, yeah,
underlying conditions.
Right, exactly. So, I hope he gets well real soon and comes back with the team whenever he's ready. Take all the time you need, man. We just want you to get better and get healthy and live a good healthy lifestyle again. So get well soon, Eduardo Rodriguez.
Facts, man. Blue Jays, moving on to the Blue Jays, they're actually going to play their season in Buffalo, so they found a home. So good luck to them. I know being misplaced like that is going to be challenging for them for sure, but at least they have a home to play with, and we can see those guys play.
Good for them.
Yeah, good for them. The MLB also extended its playoff to 16 teams, right? So that's 8 teams per league, 3 division winners, and 2 wild card teams. So
nice.
That's their breakdown. So
that's cool.
I mean, they got to do something. 60 games, that should be exciting actually.
Yeah.
To see, what happens in 60 games. It could be anybody, you know
exactly.
what I mean? Anybody
even
get
the
hot.
Teams could is that go on a run and have a chance to make the playoffs.
They get hot and they're gone.
Which I thought a trash team like the Red Sox was gonna do that, but it's not looking like that right now. So
again, they can't even beat the Orioles. Right, about to lose 2 out of 3 to them. Right.
We'll see, man. We'll see. It just started, so I don't want to bury them just yet. But like you guys said, they should not be losing to the Orioles. But let's move on, man.
There's actually one more thing I wanted to mention. MLB was that someone got a big contract extension.
Oh yeah,
former Red Sox player.
Even
speaking
I don't know
the Red Sox, right? How did we miss that?
What? Mookie Betts, man.
Yes.
Yep.
He got paid.
Paid, bro.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to mention that.
Go ahead, Barry. Talk about it.
So, yes, this week, Mookie Betts and the Dodgers agreed on a deal a 13-year deal.
13-year deal.
I said that right. 13-year deal, people. That is worth up to $365 million.
Bags.
Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, they finally got that deal done, and now he is going to be a Dodger for the foreseeable future and most likely for the rest of his career. So, I know some Boston fans felt some type of way about that and were in their feelings and were wondering, why didn't we pay Mookie that? Like, we could have done that. Why did the Red Sox let him just go away and not offer him that contract? But
the Red Sox offer him $330. I just don't think he wanted to sign with the Red Sox.
I know, I agree with that. That's
For how long?
It doesn't matter.
It was like 10 years. The highest was 10 years, like 320, 330. It was like 330. 10, they didn't go any longer than 10 years, and I don't blame them. I'm sure that they didn't want to go anything longer than that because they didn't want to put themselves in the same position that they're going through currently with Dustin Pedroia.
Yeah.
No, that's a fact, man.
I just don't think he wanted to be in Boston.
That too. No.
But I heard Patrick Mahomes say that's pocket money.
That's a fact, my boy.
Oh, damn. That's to him for sure.
I'm joking. He didn't say that.
No. Change when it comes to
get up to my level. He said, "Get up to my level."
He's like, "You're a little guy right now."
Right. Get up to my bags. His bags are different, so he's one of the few people that can say that.
Let me ask you guys a quick question. How much money do you think it'll take you to stop working, to quit your job? Stop working altogether?
I don't know if I'll stop working, man. Like, even if I had that,
I know, but
if I was to just stop working, give me a quick billion, man.
To quit your job, billion? To quit your job right now?
What? To quit my job right now?
Yeah, quit your job right now. Do whatever the hell you want afterwards.
Realistically, I probably give me like 10 million, man.
Okay, you, Barry?
Probably would definitely be more than 10 mil. I'd probably, if I had to say a number, probably be like 20 mil.
20 mil. Well, make sure you're talking to Mike. But
I don't want 20 mil. I was saying if I was to leave my job and just quit and say I don't want to work anymore.
Give me second guess, dude.
I don't even need that much.
How much you need?
I need give me 2.5 million after tax, no tax.
No tax.
Give me 2.5 million, no tax.
But you have a plan, though.
Of course, I'm gonna make that. That money is gonna make money.
He gonna make
that money is gonna make money. Watch.
He said he's gonna flip it and tumble it.
Gucci man says. Gucci.
Give me 2.5 million. That money is gonna make money. Invest in real estate. That money is gonna make money, bro.
Invest in this podcast too. I'm sure.
Of course, no doubt.
10 mil, man, for me. I think I could quit everything. Well, except the podcast, of course, because
this is gonna be the podcast is gonna be more fun now because all my time is gonna be dedicated to it.
For real.
No, facts, no doubt.
But yeah, I think that's all we had for MLB because that was huge news. I don't know how we didn't come up with that.
I know for sorry guys, I just had to make sure we had mentioned and talk about that on the podcast too, and pointing too big of
we'd be
a
upset
story not to discuss and address that on this podcast. And I'm sure there'd be some fans that would hit us up and be like, yo, why didn't y'all mention and say anything about Mookie Betts getting the deal with the Dodgers?
Facts. And that's the part of having a podcast with three guys that are paying attention. And, we got three guys, so one of us would have at least bring it up. And shout out to Barry.
Appreciate that, Vlad. Thank you, man, for sure.
Yeah, let's move on, though, to the NHL. I know some things are happening in the NHL. Like the Seattle's getting a new They're getting a new franchise, right?
Yes.
They're getting
Yep,
an
they sure
expansion
are.
team.
Yeah.
and
So
NHL expansion team.
currently the NHL has 31 team. The newest team was the Las Vegas
Knights, the Golden Knights, right,
Las
yeah,
Vegas
right,
Knights, and so now they're having a 32nd team, a 32nd expansion teams, the Seattle Krakens.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like that name, man.
I don't know, sounds
The
okay.
Kraken.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what
yeah.
the Kraken is?
Nah, what's the Kraken?
Yeah, what is
Kraken
a
is-
Kraken?
You don't know the Kraken?
No,
So you
don't.
guys have never watched, Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yep.
I've seen it.
The Kraken's like the big, the big octopus thing that like comes through.
Ah, that's what it is.
That's the Kraken. Bro.
Ah, that's
so like
what they
their
call
logo is probably gonna be a big ass octopus. Just
So the mascot is gonna be a big ass octopus
Yep.
running up the field.
big ass octopus.
So anyway, but nevertheless, it's exciting. Seattle's getting a team. Seattle is it's a big city, so they deserve a sports team.
Yeah, like the Seattle Supersonics that they had.
Yeah,
Right, and they let him go.
That. They need to bring that back.
Yes,
I need to make sure I hit
absolutely.
that up.
And
Yeah,
wasn't
so-
that one of your questions here?
Well,
If that opens the door for the Sonics to come back, or a basketball team to come back to.
No, I think that definitely opens the door for them to bring back basketball. 'Cause,
I mean, do you think they'll bring it back that soon? It hasn't been. Has it even? Maybe it's been just 10 years
what since
since
okay? Since
how long has it been?
has it even been 10 years, man?
I don't know how long has KD been playing, because I know he played his rookie year
Yeah.
in Seattle, and then after his rookie year,
They
they
moved.
went to OKC, and they were the OKC Thunder.
Yeah.
So it depends. I think it's probably been at least 10, 11 years, I want to say, because that's how long KD's been playing in the league.
Yeah, no. I think they're
Brad must
definitely
be
ready.
looking that up now.
Yeah, they need to be ready, and I know, people like Russell Wilson.
It's been 12 years.
It's been 12 years since
Yeah.
they moved. It's
Wow.
time, man.
So yeah, it is for sure.
It's time.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
People like
I don't know.
Russell
I don't know if
Wilson.
they're gonna move it right away.
They need something, man. They need another team.
Well, they just got one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they need a basketball team. That's
need a
like one of the
basketball team.
biggest basketball cities in the country, for sure. Now,
Their
a
jersey
whole lot
was
of basketball players have come out from Seattle and made it to the NBA and have turned out to be really good and great NBA players. So no, that city definitely deserves to have a basketball team back there in the near future, without question.
Yeah, nah, man. They definitely need something over there. But that's what we got for the NHL, as opposed to there hasn't been like any
quiet week for the
It's been a
NHL.
quiet
this
week, so
yeah.
there's not major news going on the NHL front.
Right.
But I know Vlad got something on the soccer front for us. So what's up?
Yes, sir. So, I don't have too much, but I just have a little bit. So we had the MLS Tournament, which is going on, which we talked about. In some of the New England Revolution, they played their round of 16 game against Philadelphia. Philadelphia beat them last night 1-0. So basically, the New England Revolution just got eliminated.
And I actually saw some of that game too.
I saw some of that game as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Last thing is Paris Saint-Germain won the Coupe de France, which is a tournament inside the League One, and it was a good game for those that watched it. It was the first game that Aflazo Paris actually struggled in. So yeah.
Okay. So that's what you got for soccer?
That's
all.
it for the soccer.
That's all for today.
Well, a quick update for the Red Sox. They actually just lost 7-4. So, they lost the series to the Baltimore Orioles. But we're going to move to...
What a shame.
I know, right.
Hey, it is what it is, man.
Unbelievable.
We're going to move to the question of the week. Actually, we got 2 questions this week, right?
Yes, we
And
do.
the first one is from Corey Field. He's from Cambridge, Mass. And shout out to Corey
Yeah,
Field,
that's
man.
my
We
man
appreciate
right
you.
there. Yeah, yep.
Another one of Barry's people.
Yes,
we
sir.
appreciate
Yes,
the
sir.
question. And his question was like, is it nuts to think that Belichick will innovate and both Kim and Stidham
are going to be starters, relegated to different packages during the season. So basically what he's saying is, like, both guys are going to be playing throughout the season. So, like, there could be a package for Cam Newton on this drive and another package for Cam Newton on, another package for Jared Stidham on another drive.
Yeah,
do you think that's crazy?
I don't know. I was trying to read over the question. Is that what he meant?
That's what he was saying. That's what because I think he was trying to ask.
Like, is that nuts to think that the Patriots would
have two
do
packages,
something like that?
do something like
and
that?
play both guys?
Yeah.
Right, at the same time, yeah.
Well, I want to say thank you, Corey, for your question. I do think it's nuts. I just think once you have a team and you have a quarterback for your team, you want to establish consistency,
Continuity.
consistency and continuity.
Yep.
And you're not gonna sub out Newton, sub in Jared Stidham every couple of plays. I do think there's gonna be some trick plays. There's gonna be some trick plays where Stidham might have to come in and throw the ball to Newton or throw the ball to somebody else. There's gonna be some wildcat plays. So there's gonna be a little bit of that. So it's not 100% nuts. But to think that they're running a 2-quarterback system, yes, that is nuts.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I don't see that happening. Like Vlad was saying, they're definitely gonna get a lot more creative with the play calling and the playbook, and you're gonna see a lot more plays that you haven't seen in a while with the Patriots. For sure, due to the skill set and the versatility that Cam Newton has and brings to the table. So from that standpoint, that'll definitely be a different part of the offense and a different part of the team that we haven't seen that we will see this year. But I don't think they're actually gonna have a 2-quarterback system and actually play like both guys like off and on and stuff. I don't see really that working out, and I don't see Bill Belichick coaching the team that way and and running the offense that way with him and Josh McDaniels. So I think, yes, that is insane and pretty outrageous to say the least. If they did that, and yeah, I for sure do not see that happening with this team at all. That's not who Bill Belichick is and how he he coaches his team.
Yeah, actually, I think it's not nuts like earlier on during the season, just based on the fact that the training camp is not happening, and Jared Stidham has been in the system for.
The preseason's not happening.
The preseason's not happening. Okay, so that means Cam Newton needs more time to acclimate himself, in the playbook and everything like that. So I don't know how that's going to end up during the training camp and stuff like that.
They can work on that during camp.
Right, but like, everything. I'm talking about everything because Bill Belichick, he's more comfortable when players know exactly what's going on out there and can, come back and tell them exactly what just happened. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's what he wants from his guys, yeah.
If they're not comfortable with throwing Cam Newton right out there right away, where they go with Stidham because they have like a package already set up that Stidham is comfortable with and they're comfortable with, I can see them, sending in Stidham for like a game and then bringing in Cam Newton in during the game to go in with certain packages. You know what I'm saying? But long term, I don't see that at all. So like, I don't think you're gonna see that happening throughout the season. But I can definitely see what you were saying. Trick plays, something to throw them off guard and things like that. Even a running play, you just send, Jared Stidham out there just to like get him off balance or something like that. So I can see something like that happening. But at the end of the day, the Patriots don't really get too innovative. Like when it comes to like quarterback play, they like to have one guy, take charge and make sure that
everything is uniform. So again, man, Corey, thank you for your question. But
Yes, thank you, my man, Corey.
That's how we're feeling on that. And then the second question, it came from Rita Fletcher. And shout out to Rita, man. She's actually
one of our biggest fans.
Yeah, she's actually a top fan on our Facebook,
on the FB page.
You know, she comments on a lot of shit.
She does, facts.
And she's one of the people that got our shirts. One of the first people to do that. So we appreciate the support, man, and keep supporting us, and we'll keep shouting you out. But her question I thought was really actually a good question, because we don't really talk about boxing too much on this podcast, even though I'm a big boxing fan. I watch a lot of fights and stuff like that. But her question is, what is your opinions on the Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. fight? Who do you think will win the match? You guys want to go? You want to go, Vlad?
Yeah, sure. I'm excited. Thank you, Rita, for the question. And I think one of the reasons why boxing is not a big topic on this podcast is just because boxing itself has not been that hot of a sport lately.
No, I disagree.
Okay.
No, it's been pretty hot, because there's like divisions you guys are not paying attention to.
Yeah, I mean,
there's the featherweight, there's the welterweight. You got guys like Errol Spence.
So to you,
Crawford,
you follow the sports and you see those guys, but as a sport, as hard as boxing was when Tyson was there, and I was young, I didn't know.
Right.
People,
I see what you're saying.
People would like look forward to those matches, and people would be. It's just not that big of a sport anymore. It's not. It's. I mean, you watch it because you're a big fan.
I'm an avid watcher.
But when you think about boxing, people are not running to the TV for boxing anymore. It's just not happening. But I want to answer her question. I don't have an opinion right now, Rita. I'm still trying to get more information on the match itself to see what's gonna happen. But to give an early prediction, I just think that Tyson hasn't boxed in 15 years. The other guy, what's his name?
Roy Jones.
Roy Jones fought a couple years ago.
2018.
Yep.
Right.
So he's fresher. He's seen the ring, so
he's had more fights also.
Yeah. So I just think because of that, because of his experience, because of the fact that he's fought lately, I think I'm gonna give him the edge. But I've also seen Tyson train, and he looks really good training, so it could go his way as well. As of right now, I'm gonna give Roy Jones the edge, but I might change my mind as we get closer to the fight.
Yeah, again, thank you for the question, Rita, and for all your support. I know you're one of our biggest fans and supporters, and we definitely appreciate it. You always supporting us. As far as the question, it maybe too early to predict this fight, but I mean, if I had to pick one person in as far as who I'm leaning towards and who has the edge, I'd probably say Roy Jones Jr., even though I do like Tyson a lot, and I've been watching his workout videos, and the guy's definitely been working and going hard in the gym, and he looks really good, and like he hasn't taken the 15 years off that he did, so it's definitely incredible to see him in that good a shape, and that he's been able to take care of himself even to this point. But I probably would say that if I had to pick one of them, it would be Roy Jones Jr., just similar to Vlad, like the experience factor, being in a lot more fights and having been in a ring more recently and having a more recent ending to his career. Just a couple years ago was his last fight, like you guys were saying, so he would definitely be the guy that would certainly be, I would think, would win this fight, but who knows? Like Vlad said, my opinion could change, as the fight soon approaches or gets closer. So, we'll see what happens. But I mean, that would definitely be a hell of a fight, and I'm excited and looking forward to watching it when it comes up. When is this?
September 12th.
Oh, okay. So in a
that's
couple
coming
months.
up pretty
that
fast.
soon. Wow. I did
Yeah.
not. We're like it's gonna be that happening that soon. So no, I'm ecstatic about the fight, and we'll definitely be tuned in and watching for sure.
Yeah, no. Not only that, Tyson's actually starting a Legends League, which is going to be his own fight league, where he's bringing back a lot of pro athletes, like ex-pro athletes, to come in and actually box in his league. So it doesn't matter what sport they played. It could be basketball. Like you could potentially see like Shaq in there or something like that. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Shaq, versus some big other dude. You know what I mean? So it's called the Legends League.
Okay.
So that's part of it. And Nate Robinson and Paul, whatever his name is, that YouTuber, Logan Paul, they're actually going to be fighting on the undercard. And I'm excited to see that as well. Again, thank you, Rita, for sending your question. In my opinion, like you guys were saying, Roy Jones Jr. last competitive fight was 2 years ago. Okay? And I love the transformation that's happened with Mike Tyson. People don't hate him no more. You know what I'm saying? He's not, he's not hated by most people. And if you guys,
right. He's actually a likable guy.
Right, he's a likable guy. He's reformed. He doesn't abuse drugs, and he's not like a mean dude no more. So he's more likable, and he's been doing a lot of stuff with Tyson Ranch and stuff like that. So I'm pretty excited for him. I like the transformation, how he's changed his life around. But at the same time, I didn't forget the way he left. The way he left boxing. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't dominating anything when he left boxing, So I can't see why he's going to come back after 15 years to come back and, just like dominate. He does look good in the workout videos. After all, they're just workout videos. So I know a lot of people are excited to see Mike Tyson, but they're excited to see the legend of Mike Tyson. You know what I'm saying? And it's not the same thing. This is a 56-year-old man that's going to be fighting. You might see one really good round, and then depending on the pace, you might see them like slow down dramatically.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Endurance and stamina will be a factor.
Endurance and stamina will definitely be a factor. I don't know what it's going to be for Roy Jones Jr. After all, because he recently retired, and I know he's a guy that stays. Well, actually, he wasn't in that best shape when he retired as well. He blew up. So
Damn. Wonder why
that's
retired.
why he's a heavyweight. He can fight a heavyweight now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm definitely going to give the edge to Roy Jones Jr. He's had like 66 fights, man, and he's been in a lot of fights, and he has a really good record, and I think he's lost like 9 times or something like that. So
it's pretty good.
I give it to him, as far as edge, but I'm definitely happy to see Mike Tyson coming back and doing his thing, man. So
yeah, and I respect him for that.
Again, thank you both for sending us the question, Corey and Rita, man. Keep sending us questions. And if you're watching, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to share this video. Tell a friend to tell a friend. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
But now we're going to move to the B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week. Barry, take it away.
Yes, so for the B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week, this is a guy who's one of the most hated athletes in our generation, and but a guy who's done a lot of really good things off the court and out of sports, and I feel like this guy could definitely be qualified to be the B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week just about every week with the amount of work that he's done off the court. But nonetheless, the person that is the B Money Lifestyle of the Week is LeBron James.
LeBron James.
I knew someone was going to say that. I can't help but laugh every time someone says his name like that. So, reason why I chose him and nominated him for the B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week is because he he started a voting rights group called More Than a Vote with several popular pro athletes in Draymond Green, Trae Young, and Jalen Rose and Skylar Diggins as well, who are a part of this group. And what they did was that they partnered with the Florida Rights Restoration and donated $100,000 to help pay fines and fees so that ex-felons are able to vote in Florida for this upcoming presidential election that we have coming up in November. So I thought that was great and, a brilliant and excellent thing that he did. It's, awesome that he's, giving back to the community in Florida and to all those, ex-felons who need those fines and fees paid off, because I believe they have a law saying that in Florida, if you're an ex-felon and if you have like fines and fees paid off, you can't register to vote until all those fines and fees are paid off. And as we know, through this difficult time that we're all going through, like not everyone's in the right predicament in financial situation in order to be able to pay those fines and fees off. So that definitely is much appreciated that he's doing this to help those guys be able to vote in November, because this is an important election coming up. I don't want to get too much into politics, and believe me, I'm one of the last people to talk politics, but definitely understand the importance of this election coming up with everything that has gone on and transpired in the country this year. So definitely big shout out to LeBron James and his voting rights group, More Than a Vote, for putting this together. So that was the main person who won the Be Money Lifestyle Award this week. And I'd also have an honorable mention as well, who is Kara Lawson. She was a Celtics assistant coach on this staff this year under Brad Stevens and the Boston Celtics, and now she has been named the new head coach of the Duke's women's basketball team. So I definitely wanted to give her a shout out as well. She's definitely a well-respected person in the basketball world. I mean, you figure that since she was the assistant coach of the Celtics, and Brad Stevens wouldn't hire anyone to be part of that staff, but she's had a really great basketball career and has done a lot of really great things, in basketball as well. So she's definitely well deserving of this position that she has, and she was actually the first black coach for the women's Duke team as well, which was pretty cool and awesome for her to have that accomplishment. So I definitely wanted to give a big shout out to her, and wish her well and best of luck with her new position, and I hope she does well and is successful and kills it. And we appreciate her time with the Boston Celtics and helping our guys out in this year when she was working with the team. So that will be it for the B Money Lifestyle Person of the Week. So shout outs to LeBron James and Kara Lawson.
That's dope, man. And for a lot of people, if you don't understand voter suppression, what's going on in Florida, that's a version of it, you know what I'm saying? So it's like they voted to actually have felons be able to register for votes, right? And what that does is there's so many people that are incarcerated. When they come out, that's a lot of votes for, like, potentially a different party. So those people, if they want to vote a certain way, they won't be able to, because there's voter suppression, because not only, that they gave you a hard time voting after becoming a
a felon or whatever, now they're gonna make it even harder for you to vote, and get your voice out there by, obstructing your ability to register to vote because you owe the state some bogus fine or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to talk about voter suppression, that's exactly it right there. And, shout outs to LeBron for actually noticing the problem and actually doing something to address it. Shout out to all the other guys, Trey Young, Skylar Diggins, everybody that you mentioned, Draymond Green. Shout out to them for noticing the problem and doing something about it, because that is a problem in this country. And one thing I always thought about was like, I might be an ex-con, but does that make me an ex-citizen? Like, why can't I vote?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, does whatever the president doing, is whatever the president doing not affecting my life too? Just because I'm an ex-felon, does that mean I don't have a right to do anything anymore after I've paid my debt to society? And that's definitely a big voter suppression tactic. Because guess what? What does jail look like? Who's in jail the most?
It's so stupid. Like, you're an ex-felon, and that can attach you for the rest of your life. For
real.
And you can get certain jobs even if you're trying to make good in society. You can't vote. Like, how do you expect people to get back into society, get back to living a normal life? Get back to living a normal life if you don't give them the opportunity to better themselves. So you're basically putting them in a trap to go back in jail.
So you're not human anymore.
Yeah. So shout out to LeBron James and congratulations to Carl Lawson.
For real, man.
Yeah, for sure. Also, shout out to Udonis Haslam, who's also a part of that group as well. So, no, definitely appreciate those guys, and what they're doing off the court for sure. And, this is definitely bigger than basketball. So, I'm glad that there are athletes like this that are giving back to society.
Yeah, no, facts, man. And actually, that's going to be it for today, man. That's going to be our show, Pro Fan Sports Podcast, where the fans of the pros go, man. So if you're still listening, as always, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for supporting. www.profansports.com. If you want to donate to the cause, please do so. It'll help us, get the podcast even better. We're trying as hard as we can to get it as good as possible. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and until next week, man, we're going to holler at you, man.
Peace, and email us those questions.
Yes, sir.
profansports1@gmail.com. Hit us up.
Yes, sir. All right, y'all. Have a good week, y'all. Peace.
Peace out.